Ele é um especialista em vilões de desenhos animados. Animador da Disney. Vamos conhecer Andreas Deja. Andreas Deja. So we're going to speak in Portuguese because I heard that you speak perfect Portuguese. It's not true.
Not quite. Not quite.
Not quite.
German and English, that's all I can.
German and English, that's not bad.
For starters.
And Polish a little.
Polish, no, it's too long ago.
But you're from Polish origin.
I was actually born there.
Yes.
And then my parents moved to Germany, where I was raised. And then I moved to America in 1980 to work for Disney.
You came strictly to work for Disney. When you came, you knew that you were going to work for Disney?
Absolutely.
How was that? Who made that contact with you?
Myself. I just wrote to the studio from Germany and I asked, how do you become a Disney animator? What's involved? And then they sent a nice answer back saying, you got to become an artist on your own right first. Don't send us any drawings of Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck. You have to be your own artist first.
Sure.
So go to art school and learn about anatomy and people and, sketch the animals at the zoo and then show us what you can do.
So you started from scratch. You asked them how you should do it?
Absolutely.
You didn't even send any drawings, nothing. You just sent a letter asking how to become...
The whole thing,
I want to be a
Disney animator. Because when I was about 10 years old, I think the Jungle Book came to town for the first time. And that was my first Disney movie ever, and I loved it. And I decided then at the age of 10, I want to be a Disney animator. So then I wrote to the studio and found out what's involved and started in 1980.
But were you already a good...
Yeah. Ever since kindergarten, drawing.
Kindergarten.
Yes.
That's fantastic. And you specialized in villains.
Bad guys.
Why is that? Are you a bad guy, personally? You don't look like a bad guy.
Well, I go home in the afternoon and kick my cats, right? No, I like bad guys because they have the most fun. I mean, who wants to draw a prince or a princess?
Yeah.
They have to be so nice and sweet. And with bad guys, you can really get into and you can be so much more expressive. You can do things with them.
Sure. It's much more fun.
Yes, absolutely.
How long does it take to make, when you work on a character, how long does it take to do it for the whole film?
Well, we usually work a little bit more than 1 full year on one project. So whether it was Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin or Lion King, the new one, it was 1 full year with lots of overtime. And, it's hard work because we still have to do 24 drawings for each second.
That's a terrible thing. Even with the computers, it doesn't help you?
No, the computer can't really draw for us. The computer can help us with some of the color. We don't have to hand paint the drawings anymore.
Yeah, okay.
So the computer can paint this black and this white. But I have to draw
click it and...
Exactly. But I have to draw it first and make it act and have it come to life. Then the computer can help with some areas, and it can move like objects around, like a car. Or remember in Beauty and the Beast, the ballroom? It could move this whole room around, but it can't act. It has no feelings. I have to do that.
And for instance, you know exactly the 24. You have to draw 24.
For each second.
For each second. And you know exactly the positions that you have to draw? How do you do that? How do you manage to do that? Is that a special technique?
Well, first you have to have an idea, of course, who the character is. It's very much like being a real actor and working with a director. You talk the scene over. You said, okay, here you have Jafar. And Jafar is talking to Princess Jasmine. And he's pretending not to know about Aladdin. And oh dear, he didn't even know that Aladdin was going to die. He's so sorry. So you talk about the attitude, what is going through his mind. He's lying. So you have to come up with a face of a liar. And the princess is shocked, and he's trying to comfort her, but it's all false, it's all evil.
He's a son of a bitch.
He is a bad son of a bitch. You know what, I think Scar is even worse, though, the latest one in Lion King. You want to see evil. He's just about as evil as you can get. Yeah, he was really bad.
And Jeremy Irons was doing the voice.
He was doing the voice, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to work on the character. Because they said, we have this lion here, and Jeremy Irons is going to do the voice. I said, me,
You're a fan of...
Absolutely.
Me too.
Great actor.
Yes, fantastic jobs, for instance, in the Von Bülow, the...
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
Very icy, very calculated, and a lot of color in his voice. So the animators always look for, texture in the voice, something they can play with, and he just gave me plenty.
Well, let's see a clip. I have a clip. Let's start with a clip from Aladdin. You can roll. Pode soltar, Willem, o clipe.
He has the lamp. It's time to say goodbye.
Gaston is the best and the rest is all the rest.
And tell me something, who did the voice of this special villain?
Which one, the first one?
In Aladdin.
Aladdin, it was Jonathan Freeman, and he doesn't look like Jafar at all. What happened was I had gotten the voice recordings of Jonathan, and what the animators do, we listen to that over and over again, and we come up with an idea who the character is and what he looks like, and I had a certain idea. I wanted something very skinny, very bony and evil looking, and I came up with the design.
But were you inspired in someone?
I couldn't name that person, You
couldn't.
He works for Disney.
He works for Disney. Well,
I couldn't say who that was.
An high executive.
Very high.
Yeah.
Not all the way, though.
Not all the way. Okay.
But when Jonathan came by visiting later on, he's kind of chubby and going like, God, you are Jafar. You don't look like Jafar at all. I couldn't see that voice coming out of him, because I had gotten to know his voice first.
And you always got to know, you get the voice first?
That's what inspires us. See, most people don't know, but we do the voice recordings first, and then we get little tape recordings of that. We listen to that over and over again, and then close our eyes and just imagine what would that look like? What would the character act like? The voice is going up. You might raise the character and so forth. So the actor is responsible for the voice, of course, but we are responsible for the acting.
And in the Beauty and the Beast.
Right.
Which character did you draw?
Gaston. We just saw him. The bully, the bad guy.
The bad guy. One character.
Right.
Only one character. You can't do more than. But some people working in more than one character. On each character has its own private.
We don't have time to do more than one character. Animator. Like I said, we have one here, and I can really concentrate only on one. But that is my character.
Sure. And how many hours a day do you work on it?
Well, the normal work hours are from 8 to 5, but it goes beyond. You work into the evenings and Saturdays.
When you go to bed, you close your eyes, you see this little thing moving.
It doesn't stop.
In your mind,
yes.
It doesn't.
Little thing moving.
Yeah. I mean, inside your mind.
Inside my mind.
That little.
It doesn't stop. I mean,
bad guy.
You take it home and you think about it, and you constantly think about better ways of doing it. Then you go back to work the next day. You erase it. You change. You always want to do a better job.
Let's see. I think we have now Scar from the Lion King. Willem, se tiver no ponto. O Scar do Lion King, que é baseado no. A voz é do Jeremy Irons.
God, guess what?
I despise guessing games.
I'm gonna be king of Fried Rock.
Oh, goody.
My dad just showed me the whole kingdom, and I'm gonna rule it all.
Yes. Well, forgive me for not leaping for joy. Bad back,
He even looks like Jeremy Irons. And the funny thing is, when Jeremy Irons, he does the voice, he also doesn't know how he's going to look like.
He had no idea.
And when he saw it, what did he say?
He loved it. He said, I didn't know I could be so evil. No, but in this case, I knew he was going to do the voice, and I'd seen some of his movies, and I thought, well, maybe in this case, I can look at some of his movies and photographs and incorporate some of his own facial features.
Could you draw that for us?
Yeah, sure.
Give us an example.
Jeremy is he has a very unique face.
Yeah.
Very, very eerie. He can be very icy, and I wanted to have that in the look for the villain.
Did you want to see damage on all that to?
Yeah.
There
was Scar in the nude,
Yeah.
I told my animators to watch all his movies, including that one. But I have of course long arched eyebrows, and then kind of a longish nose, because he looks different than all the other lions. I wanted him to look a little special. He's not so heroic. He has to have that lidded, icy Jeremy Irons look. fun thing about lions is they have a lot of black around the eyes and around the mouth as well, black lips. And of course that fits a villain just perfect, you know.
Yeah.
There's also some British qualities, you know, in Jeremy's voice, that British upper lip, you know, I try to keep all that, you know, in the animation. I wanted it to be as close as possible. And of course it has to really, in the end, look like that voice is coming out of that drawing.
The terrible thing is that you keep seeing Jeremy Irons behind the lion. I don't know if he's going to like that very much in a few years.
He said it was a very unique experience for him because he just did the voice recording. He didn't have to be careful with the way he looked or what he did, and then just leave the rest to us. You know, he just left, and we took care of the rest.
The hair is incredible.
Yeah, I was really insisting on a black mane. You know, we tried brown manes and red manes. I said, no, it's got to be black, you know, because it looks, on the screen, it looks kind of striking and evil. The whiskers.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But I think it's in his mouth, that subtle British grin, you know.
Yeah.
Try to keep.
And the eyes?
Yeah, very dark. It's in black. Yeah, the other lines are very heroic and very nice looking, but not this guy.
Yeah. Andreas, tell me something. So you wrote Disney, and they told you what to do. Then you sent some work,
right?
And then they called you.
And then they called me, and I had finished school at that time. And again, this was around 1980. And they said, come on over, and we'll try you out for about a couple months and see how it goes. And so I came over and
What was your first work with them?
The first picture, they had just finished The Fox and the Hound.
I see.
That was being finished up, and they were starting this new big epic called The Black Cauldron. So I started to do some character work on that and design work with Tim Burton, actually, the director, who was at Disney at the time. And Tim and I designed some of the costumes and the characters for that movie. And then, of course, Tim left and became a big movie director, and I stayed on with Disney.
And now, after a big success like this, like The Lion King, how many months of rest do you have?
I had
before?
3 months.
3 months, and then you start working.
Which was about the longest break I've had. But I've been on this schedule, a movie a year, for like 7, 8 years, ever since Roger Rabbit, and you get really exhausted.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, because you can't just cut it when you go home.
No,
it keeps moving.
Absolutely.
In your head.
So it was just nice to take a 3 months break and go home, see my family, go back to Europe a little bit, and now I'm drawing Mickey Mouse, something totally different.
Is the first time you're drawing Mickey Mouse?
Not the first time. We did a featurette, a half-hour Mickey Mouse show a few years ago called The Prince and the Pauper, and I was supervising animator for that character, and now we're doing an actual short, just like in the 40s and 50s, a new 7-minute Mickey Mouse short called Runaway Brain.
Oh, and what's your favorite Disney character of all times?
Out of the old ones?
Yeah.
Of course, I love the old characters.
Yes,
I mean, these old animators are my heroes. I love them. Oh, I like Captain Hook. I love Shere Khan from the Jungle Book. Villains again.
Villains all the time.
But those are probably some of my favorite. Cruella de Vil, I really love in 101 Dalmatians. There's just, with the villains, I think a bigger fascination. They're richer in personality than the good guys.
Well, it is a pleasure to have you here. I hope to see you in Brazil sometime.
I hope so too.
You've never been in Brazil?
Never been. I just met some friends in Germany from Sao Paulo. Wonderful people. They invited me over, so hopefully I'll make it down there sometime.
Okay. Thank you very much. Eu conversei aqui com Andreas Deja. Daqui a pouco a gente volta.